Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the City of Lake Mary. My name is Corey Bowles, and I'm the Fire Chief here for the City of Lake Mary. On behalf of all the agencies here today, I would like to thank the CFO and his team for stopping through Central Florida and highlighting firefighter health and safety and making that a priority. Here at the Lake Mary Fire Department, we go by the motto of service before self. I do think that is important for us serving our community. Also, as leaders, I think it's important that we pause and we identify those tools and resources that our firefighters need to serve our community. So with that, in achieving that mission, I do want to recognize one or two people here locally that assist us. Our Mayor, David Mealor. Our City Manager, Kevin Smith. And with that, again, thank you, CFO, and if you would like, I'd like to invite you up.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming. Can you guys hear me okay? You guys can hear me, y'all good? I got the press laughing, so that's a good thing. That's a good start. Chief, thank you for the introduction. It means a lot to be around so many hometown heroes. I appreciate everything that you guys do. I truly do care. For the people who don't know me, my name is Blaise Ingoglia. I am the Chief Financial Officer of the great state of Florida, and while I am not doging local governments, I am also serve as the state fire marshal. I want to recognize some people here today. Mayor, thank you for being here. Thank you, sir. Representative Plakin and her little one right there. Thank you for being here. I'd be remiss. Where is Scott? I just saw Scott. Scott Plakin. Thank you. We served in the Florida House. Great man. Thank you for what you're doing. And my brother from another mother there, Representative Barnaby. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Or I should say today. I said tonight. It's been running around. I don't know if it's day or night anymore. I think everyone knows here that our first responders are the backbone of our communities. Every day, these firefighters go out selflessly and protect and serve our communities. And I think thanking them today is probably even more special coming upon the anniversary of 9/11 tomorrow. It was a horrible day in our nation's history. We've lost a lot of people, including people who ran into those buildings while everyone was running out. So I appreciate you guys. So on behalf of me, the state's fire marshal office, and I think I could say that on behalf of the state of Florida, guys, thank you for everything that you do. So whether it is running into harm's way, putting out fires, responding to medical emergencies, helping cats out of trees, installing car seats, we thank you for everything that you do because you guys are there when we need you guys the most. In Florida, some statistics, fire department responds every 9 seconds. An EMS rescue call occurs every 13 seconds. A fire occurs every 11 minutes, and a vehicle fire occurs every 61 minutes. Right here in Seminole County, our firefighters responded to over 45,000 calls for service in 2024 alone. Florida is fortunate to have great people working for it, and our firefighters here in the state of Florida are amongst the best in the nation. So that is why it is so vital to ensure that firefighters have what they need in order to do their jobs, which is to keep Florida's families and communities safe. Now, unfortunately, firefighters have a higher risk of being diagnosed with cancer than other professions. This is a piece of legislation that I had sponsored when I was in the Florida House, knowing how important it is. And what we did was help give monetary support and treat certain cancers as they were only obtained because you guys are firefighters. So we were instrumental in getting that through. We fought for years to get that done, but we finally got that done, and I know that we are seeing fruits of that labor. For people who don't know why that is important, fighting fires today are much different than the way they used to fight fires 40, 50, 60 years ago. So 40 years ago, 50 years ago, you had a lot of structures that were built primarily out of wood. So when a fire burned, there was risk to the firefighters' health, but some of the cancers that we are seeing are directly attributable to some of the things that we are seeing burned in these fires today. A lot of petrochemicals, a lot of plastics. So when firefighters go into these situations, what regular lay people may not understand is that they are breathing in these toxins. And even if you have the proper ventilation, they're being absorbed through the skin. So that's why they have to go through very vigorous training to make sure that they are safe, and strict decontamination protocols to make sure that they remain safe. So with that in mind, we know that we have to take care of our hometown heroes because they are taking care of us. So, and also I just want to point this out. In the last couple of months that I have been serving as CFO of the great state of Florida, one of my biggest initiatives is to make sure that we deliver property tax relief. But let me be clear to our firefighters and our first responders, law enforcement. The first role of government is to protect its citizens. So when they are developing their budgets, the very first thing that they should be doing is funding fire and police. And let me say this also to any local government out there that wants to play political games with funding. I know where the money is hidden. If you think you can run or hide from me, you can't. What I'm telling you also is that because I know where the money is hitting, do not use our firefighters and our law enforcement as some political boogeyman to say that you cannot cut your budgets. Because I know for a fact there is enough money in these budgets to cut fat, trim the budgets, and give these guys the raises that they deserve. I don't want to hear anything from them. So today I am proud to be presenting 16 fire departments from across the state of Florida with checks totaling $1.4 million to support the purchase of necessary equipment. So we're going to do this in a couple of phases. Please come forward for your photo when I announce your award. So we're going to announce the award. Everyone that is here representing that fire department, we will pull off on the side. We will take some pictures. We'll announce the next award. We'll come up, we'll take more pictures, and then continue that process. First, this was a member project which ran through the legislature, which came through our office for funding. Today, I'm proud to present the check for $1.04 million to the Sanford Airport Authority for firefighting vehicle replacements. So Sanford, all my pleasure. Well, we have to put you on the side because you're too short. Where are we going? Right there? Ready? Hold on, please. We got to put it down. Okay. We got to make sure we see her. Okay. Take that to the bank and put it through the drive-thru. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Of course.
Thank you.
Just so you have it.
Thank you,
Give
sir.
those things.
Thank you, sir. I'm also proud to present checks through the Firefighter Cancer Decontamination Equipment Grant and the Firefighter Assistance Grant. These funds will support the purchase of important decontamination tools and safety equipment to ensure that our firefighters are protected. I am proud to present awards from the Firefighter Assistant Grant Program to Satellite Beach Fire Department for the total of $61,767.05. Do we have Satellite Beach here? All right. Next, under the Firefighter Assistance Grant Program, Inverness Fire Department for a total of $52,143.50. Inverness, where are we? Is Inverness here? Inverness, we're canceling your check. You're not allowed to be here. I think Satellite Beach just got an extra 52 grand. No, we will make sure we get the checks to them. So under the Firefighter Cancer Decontamination Grant Program, Cape Canaveral Volunteer Fire Department, $42,525. I love giving out money while saving money also. This is awesome. Titusville Fire Department, $36,446.10. Do we have Titusville here? There we go. You're late, $5 extra. No, that's okay. It's all good. Haines City Fire Department for a total of $35,625. Lake County Fire and Rescue, $23,476. Mount Dora Fire Department, $28,206. New Smyrna Beach Fire Department, $23,421.50. Mineola Fire Rescue, $21,000. Even. DeLand Fire Department, $10,507.39. Lake Mary Fire Department, $88,268.75. There we go. Where is Sydney? Sydney, do we want to have everyone up and take, where is Sydney? Want to have everyone up and take group photos? Let's do that real quick before we move on. If all of the firefighters can come up to the front here, we'll take one big group photo with everyone. Come on up here, even with the checks. I also want to highlight 4 other fire departments receiving awards that were not able to attend here today, notwithstanding Inverness. I'm going to get with them. They're in trouble. Auburndale Fire Department for a total grant award of $13,955. Cocoa Beach Fire Department, grand total $7,297.50. Daytona Beach Fire Department, grand total $5,874. The Orlando Fire Department, $5,342.77. Before we close, there are some people that I want to come up and address you guys because I think it is very, very important in the context of 9/11, what we're doing here today. I think it's an important message that we all need to hear. It is always good to hear from our hometown heroes. Where is Jazz? There she goes. Jazz. Jazz, if you don't know, has an amazing, incredible story. She's a Seminole County firefighter. She has had some battles, and we'd love to hear about your inspirational story. Thank you, Jazz.
Good afternoon. My name is Jazz Zombo. I am a lieutenant with Seminole County Fire Department. I've been with the county for 20 years. During my career as a firefighter, I've been diagnosed with cancer twice. Once in 2006 with late-stage melanoma. I actually went into cardiac arrest twice during my treatments. And then 5 years later, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, early stage. Can you hear me? Louder? Okay, sorry, gotta be louder. And after my battles with cancer, I started looking into some of the statistics of firefighters and why all my coworkers and why we didn't talk about cancer in the fire service, but you know that everybody around us started getting diagnosed with cancer. And so I started looking into the statistics, and I found that we have a 9% increased risk of being diagnosed with cancer and a 14% increased risk of dying of cancer compared to the general public. And then I started advocating and educating about our risk, and ended up in Tallahassee fighting for our cancer bill for several years, and very appreciative of, you know, all the sponsors and all our representatives that put together to do this cancer bill, and, you know, educating on our just doing gross decon, why it's so important to have gross decon. Gross decon removes 85, if you do wet soap decon removes 85% of the contaminants off your gear. It is our first line defense of getting that nasty stuff off our gear and getting us making sure that we are reducing our exposures. Purchasing extractors. Extractors remove 99.9% of our gear. So purchasing that equipment, having these grants available are very important, and I'm very appreciative that the state recognizes these issues that our first responders and our firefighters endure, and making sure these grant money is available to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Florida Professional Firefighters President, good dear friend of mine, Bernie Bernosca.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Chief. As the CFO just mentioned, my name's Wayne Bernosca. I go by Bernie. I have the honor and distinct privilege of serving as president for the Florida Professional Firefighters, representing over 30,000 men and women, brave men and women, whom cancer is a very real occupational risk for. That's why this change in culture, decontamination, and getting these chemicals out of our gear is so important to protect not only our firefighters, but our families when we go home. And that's why this is important to me and our organization. Our Chief Financial Officer has shown time and time again that firefighter health and safety is a top priority. From championing our firefighter cancer law in 2019 to advancing last session's firefighter OSHA legislation, he's been a true partner in making sure our firefighters get the protections they need. Chief, I'm so proud of the work we've accomplished over the last couple of years, and I know in your role as CFO and State Fire Marshal, you'll continue to fight for our members. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Florida Fire Chiefs Association President Trip Barris.
Good afternoon, everyone. As president of the Florida Fire Chiefs Association, it is both an honor and a privilege for me to be here addressing you today. I want to recognize the program that is making a real difference in the lives of Florida firefighters. The Cancer Prevention Decontamination Grants provided through the Office of the State Fire Marshal. We all know the risks that come with our profession. Chief mentioned, 9/11, running into danger. What's not as well known is the cancer risk. Cancer has become one of the greatest threats to our firefighters. For too long, we lacked the resources to fight this invisible enemy. But today, thanks to this grant program, departments across Florida are better equipped to protect their members. These funds have allowed fire departments, both large and small, to purchase critical gear washers, decontamination equipment, and clean cab systems, all tools that dramatically reduce the carcinogens that our firefighters are exposed to. This means healthier crews, fewer families that are going to be devastated by a horrible diagnoses, and ultimately, more firefighters who are able to finish their careers strong and go on to enjoy the pensions that they have earned. On behalf of the Florida Fire Chiefs Association, I want to extend our deepest gratitude to CFO Blaise Ingoglia. CFO Ingoglia, your leadership and the words you spoke today have shown that you clearly understand what we do and the hazards we face, and your actions here with the checks have shown that you're willing to take positive action to protect those who protect others. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
And since the CFO mentioned it, I'd like to take a moment of personal privilege and talk about 9/11 tomorrow. If you have an event that recognizes the first responders that sacrificed their lives that day in your home community, please attend. Please show that respect. We say never forget. We got to remember that a lot of the firefighters online today were not firefighters, and some were not even alive back on that day. We lost 343 of our bravest, and that horrible day, and that deserves remembrance. If your communities don't have an event, ask why. Find out why and get one going. Thank you.
So a couple of comments. First about cancer as it relates to firefighters, and a couple of comments regarding 9/11. You've heard it said here before today that firefighters are running into trouble. They're running into a space where they don't know necessarily what the outcome is going to be. And I think that's why funding cancer coverage, cancer prevention is so very important, because a firefighter can go into a structure and know the risks immediately before her or him with the structure. But what the firefighter doesn't know is the risk that they're going to have 5 years from now, 10 years from now, by consistently going into burning structures where plastics and petrochemicals are being burnt. So it has been a silent killer, where we are silent no more. I am very happy and proud that the legislature has taken proactive steps to make sure that we are protecting you guys. One last thing about 9/11, and I will take some questions from the media, but only if you're nice. Only if you guys are nice. More smiles back there. Every 9/11, I personally, I don't know if you guys do, I suspect some of you do also, I find myself later in the day, in the evening, after going to events in the morning, watching reruns of everything that happened on TV on some of the news channels, the history channels. There was at one point where MSNBC replayed the whole day for, I think, the first couple of years, like full coverage, as if it was happening live. And I find myself doing that to remind myself of two things. that people are out there wanting to attack us because of our freedoms, because we are the freest people on the face of the planet, and there's a reason why people attack the people at the top, because they want to be like us or they actually disdain us. Now, we know there are people out there who are disdaining us enough to kill over 3,000 people in a heinous act. And I watch that not because I need to remind myself of that, because I think we are reminded of that every day. I watch those reruns as a source of pride for the freedoms that we have in this United States of America, but also in the pride that we have our first responders. Some of them absolutely knew what they were going into. I'm not going to pull a Jimmy Patronis and cry. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I'm about to tear up, because some of them actually knew that they weren't coming out. They knew that. They made that decision to go into those burning buildings to save people's lives. Some of them knew that they weren't coming back. Some of them knew that they may not have been able to save anyone, but they were willing to put their lives and lay down their lives to try. So while tomorrow, if we get to see those reruns on there, let's not us forget that the heroes that went into those buildings and the reason why those buildings were attacked. It is an honor to live in the greatest republic in the history of the world. And it is an honor to be amongst you all for doing everything that you do for our communities. Give these guys a big round of applause again. So with that, more than happy to take a couple of questions. So the question, so everyone hears, is what is the plan for eliminating property taxes? First, the plan is, it is a lofty goal to eliminate property taxes on homesteaded properties only. There are a bunch of plans that are probably going to be debated amongst the legislature. That is going to be one of them. I personally think that if we wound ourselves in a situation where we had no income tax in the state of Florida and no property tax on homesteaded properties, we can build real generational wealth here in the state of Florida and make people freer and richer than every other state. Now, having said that, the majority of property taxes in any city or county, and it varies county or county, are usually done by non-homesteaded properties. But there's a fault in the assumption of your question, is that local governments need all of the revenues at the revenues levels that they have right now. And I'm going to say that is unequivocally, absolutely false when local governments say that they need all this revenue. We are going to come out with some information relatively quickly here, probably within the next couple of weeks, just explaining how much local governments are actually wasting. And we've calculated the numbers where they can fully fund fire and police, do a lot of the essential services, and still cut the budgets. They're just not trying. So we are going to show them the roadmap, and hopefully they are going to do something. But I will not stand for anyone using the bully pulpit of an elected office to demonize fire and police for the sake of them keeping pet projects that should not be paid by taxpayers in the first place. I'm just not going to do it. Yes, ma'am. Oh, well, so this is going to be in a two-part thing. We're going to give a 30,000-foot level of just how egregious the spending has been at the local level, but then we are going to get into the details later of certain examples of what they're spending on when the DOJ reports come out. But trust me, I've seen some of the data. the data is eye-popping. And my view, and here's the other thing, housing affordability is one of my top issues, right? Taxes and insurance, top issues. Being able to come to the state of Florida with the freedom and opportunity that we've had before. When I came here in the 90s, people don't have that right now because they're being taxed out of their homes. You know a great way to make our first responders live a better, less stressful life? Give them tax relief also. So it's not just for us, it's for them also. Yes? So I'm a little frustrated with Orange County government. Normally, when you issue a permit to a subpoena to a governmental authority, your general counsel then will take the subpoena on behalf of the government employees. That's normally how it works. But Orange County, in their infinite wisdom, decided that they weren't going to do that and made us chase down every single employee every single employee and subcontractor to deliver those subpoenas. I think we just now were able to finish the delivering of those subpoenas. So we are going to have the conversations with them, and we're going to have some frank conversations and ask them, did they do what we think could possibly have been done? We're telling them, don't hide anything. Don't lie to investigators just to hide the actions of a superior. Just be honest with us. We just want to know what is being spent, how much is being spent on certain projects, so then we can go and communicate that to the residents. Any other questions? Yes, sir. I think the court's got it right. Look, I have been as a constitutional issue, I believe that there is a constitutional right to carry a firearm the way you want to carry a firearm. Now, just because, and I want to be clear here, just because there will be open carry by virtue of the court's decision does not mean that everyone is going to be open carrying everywhere that they go. So I want to be clear with that. There's this I know the left wants to think that everyone's going to be carrying firearms everywhere in Publix and in restaurants. That's just not going to be the case. But as a constitutional right, the greatest governing document that has ever been written in the history of the world, we have a Second Amendment right to do that, and the court got it right. Yes, ma'am. And you know another thing? Look, gun violence is everywhere. We see it. And a lot of it has to do with people that have mental health issues. And what I'm concerned about now, as a chief fire marshal, is some of these guys being targeted. Because there have now been numerous attacks on firefighters as well as law enforcement, just because of the job that they do. They should not. In fact, I think, and I don't think this is in statute right now, I did a bill reforming the death penalty laws. I think we should have another qualifier to the death penalty, that if someone shoots a somebody shoots one of our firemen on their job, they should be eligible for the death penalty also. That's how strong I feel about that and protecting these guys. Yes, ma'am. Last question. We're in the process of doing that, but the process has been slowed because of the games that the Orange County Mayor's Office and their General Counsel has slowed us by making us hand deliver each individual subpoena individually. Now, because of that, and because of what is happening here in Orange County in relation to accepting subpoenas on behalf of government employees, I'm going to look to change the law that says that from now on, if a subpoena is issued to a government employee based on the fact that the government employee is, we are doing an investigation in government in general, then they have to accept it on behalf of the employees, because us running around for a couple weeks trying to issue subpoenas shouldn't happen. It's a waste of time, resources, and money, but from what I've seen, Orange County does waste a lot of resources and money as it is. We're just adding on. So with that, I want to thank everybody for coming. My team will be ready to answer any questions should you have any follow-up. Guys, thank you for everything that you do.